Hi Shantanu. Hi guys.
Hello, am I properly audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, hi.
Um, Hi everyone. The speaker should arrive shortly. Thank you, Kawaljeet.
All are eagerly excited for the next guest, I guess.
Very. I'm just looking for Manita ma'am. Okay, ma'am is here. I'll invite her. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hello everyone.
Good
How are
evening.
you?
Good evening. All good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes. So good evening to everyone present here, and good evening to ma'am as well. On the second day of the Writers' Week, we have invited Dr. Manita ma'am to answer the general queries we writers get during before, and after the process of writing. And I quote, this session is for writers and by writers. So to introduce Manita ma'am, she has been featured multiple times in the Asian Chronicles, the Pioneer, the Times of India, aside from also successfully publishing two books, which have more than 4-star ratings on Goodreads. And while playing the role of a doctor as well as a writer, she has immense knowledge in regards to how to stay consistent with writing, and knocks in tips for young writers like me, you, and us, extremely inquisitively. And likewise, we are very excited for this session also to be a productive one for all the writers of the university and beyond. So, ma'am, instead of me introducing me telling everyone about your wonderful books, I'd love it if you could tell us about them.
That was a really great introduction. Thank you, Poulomi. And like you've already said, I'm a doctor. I have my skin, laser, and aesthetic clinic in Jaipur. Also an author of two best-selling books. One is The Masquerade, and the other is Pumpkin Spice. And my next novel is about to release The Size of Love in March, and another one in May, More Spark Extra Spice. So there are things on my plate right now in regarding the writing field, and this is what, like, whatever time I get from my clinic and family, I devote to writing.
That's very nice. Can you tell us a little bit about the books that you've published so far?
Yes, my first novel was The Masquerade. It was released in July 2020. It was a mystery thriller with a dash of romance in it, and it received a massive response. The second book was released last year, November. It's Pumpkin Spice. Both of my books are really close to me. Every author loves their book, but I have been fortunate that my readers also connected a lot with the books, and the response has been phenomenal. Like, I've been really fortunate and I've been privileged to be able to connect with the audience. So
Very
these are
true.
the two books.
Yeah, it feels very good if the audience connects to us and if they can
Yes,
relate to what we write.
yes.
So to start with the session, I'd like to first ask you, what about writing fascinates you? Like, we know that much that connecting, if the audience connects to us, then it feels like a delight. It feels like a heaven to us. But what else?
Yeah. See, Reader Connect is always there, but to begin with, what fascinates like me about writing is to be able to, create a universe where you can explore your ideas. You can just put your ideas out there on a paper or in a book in a universe. You're just playing around with your ideas and things that people tell you or you absorb from the world and you throw there to play around. And then people who read it, they come back and say, "Oh, we related to that," or "We loved that," or "This thing, it took us in a different world." So to
Right.
create that world is the most fascinating thing for me as a writer. Yeah,
Right.
I really love that process.
In fact, have you seen Queen's Gambit? It's a Netflix series. So
I
the main
haven't. I've
character.
heard a lot about it. Yeah, please go ahead.
It's a wonderful series. In fact, in the main character, Elizabeth Harmon, she's a chess player, but she wonderfully, I quote what she said in one of the episodes. She said ki, she likes to play chess because she can dominate the the chess board, because she can uh, make her characters do anything according to
And
her.
that's a beautiful aspect. Basically, for every artist, like if you are painting or if you are doing any piece of work which is art, so it is like something is, a blank paper is there and you're creating something. That itself gives the satisfaction. So, one kind of, nobody is reading some work, then also you will love to write. That is why, like, that is how you know that you are passionate. But suppose I'm not able to put it out, then also whatever I wrote, I love it. So,
Right.
yes, that's a very interesting perspective that you quoted.
Right. I'd like to quote another person. Her name is Maya Shanbhag. She said, fiction is like listening to someone's heartbeat through a stethoscope, and memoir
Mm-hmm.
is like an open heart surgery and holding someone's heart in your hands. So what is your opinion on this?
Um, this is another beautiful quote that you've quoted, and I think it's brilliant for an author to relate a process of writing to heart surgery or listening to heart through stethoscope. Being a doctor, I can relate more. Like when you're writing fiction, I can go as close to a character as listening to a heartbeat through a stethoscope. So that's what I think she has meant, that you can write about a character from a distance. You can't go within him. But when you're writing a memoir or a biography, you have to actually hold that person life in your hand. It's like a surgery. It's like open heart surgery. So it's a beautiful metaphor. Very nice. I agree with it.
Totally. Manita ma'am, I'd like to ask you, as a writer, this is a kind of a personal question, but as a writer, do you treat the process of writing as therapy?
See, every art form is therapy because you're
Yes,
already out there in the world doing your roles, in a family and when you are working as a doctor, as a lawyer, like you guys are law students, right? So
yes,
you're already doing a lot of things. So you absorb. You're like, I always feel a writer is like a sponge. They absorb everything from surroundings, and then they need to sort it out somewhere. They need to, and there are a lot of experiences. When I was on a long travel, I didn't know what to do with those experiences. I started writing the travel which I,
yes,
just sorted it out, jotted it in a private blog that I have to, I'm seeing so many things, I'm feeling so many things. Let's, write it at one place. So it is definitely therapy because it streamlines your thoughts. It ends the chaos in your mind, and if there's a lot of things to deal with, you can just put it out on paper and forget about it.
right. Even me as a writer, I think even Shantanu here writes a little bit. He's written wonderful shairis, and I've heard
Oh,
some.
really nice.
Yes.
Very
So
nice.
as
Great.
writers, I think I relate to the fact that when we go to travel somewhere, when we go to some new place, we absorb so much and we just have to put it out somehow.
Yes, sometimes you see so much beauty around you and so many
Yeah.
emotions you are going through. Then if you put it somewhere, okay. It's safe now. It's not going anywhere.
Right. That's why I get so many thoughts in 1 second when I visit something when I visit somewhere beautiful. I just have to write it down somewhere. It's just too much
Yeah,
pressure on my mind.
yes, yes,
I
All
just had
right.
a personal question with regards to that, since you are a medical student also, like you would remain the medical student, and like the law area and the medical areas, those areas where like all the candidates remains a student throughout their life. So apart
yes.
from that stuff, how you manage your time for writing such good stuff?
See, I have seen that medical students and law students are the most creative people, because they have to sit with their books for so long that after two, you can't study for more than 2 to 3 hours, at a set. Even I can't study for more than 40 minutes. So instead of going around and, roaming around and wasting time, you can just sit and write a poem or, some short story, a few lines. Or you can when you take breaks, you need to take breaks. You can't do your work all 24 hours a day. So at that time, if you put all your efforts into your, creative work, because I've seen brilliant painters and singers in medical students and law students. So in fact, I feel that they are really creative people. It's just that it's a matter of managing a little time. And after some time, if you feel no, I have to pursue it, but I'm not getting time, at that stage, you should squeeze out time. Initially, you just escape from things and then do your artwork. Later, when you become really passionate about it, you need to squeeze out time. Okay, now I have to write. So take out a few hours, 1 or 2 hours from your time, and it's not difficult. You try, you can take it out. So you
Right.
Fair
can,
enough.
yeah,
In the same in the same context of what Shantanu asked, I want to ask you another question. That do you recommend even non-writers to pen down their thoughts or
yes,
try to
yes.
write?
Yes, I have been an inspiring force or maybe pushing force for a lot of people that just write it. Like sometimes people contact me that they're going through some tough times, or just like that you are forgetful. Suppose you are not going through a tough time, but you are forgetful, and sometimes you are not feeling well. I have encouraged people to write it. You don't need to become a very good writer. You don't want to become published. It's not like that. But I think every person should maintain a journal, and
Right.
those journals should have, some points which you really like and which you don't like, which things to do. A lot of people maintain things to do. Similarly, every day you should, like, I divide the diary, every single page into two parts: things to do and things I would love to do. So, in fact, a lot of times I have seen that your problems get sorted when you start writing. Okay, I have to deal with, oh, this can be done. So it becomes doable. And I strongly advise people to write journal. And another one thing, I believe that everybody should maintain a list of things that make you feel happy. It has helped me a lot. Like sometimes when you're
Right.
feeling low, just go back to that. Okay, I've written music. Go back to music. Which music? So okay, that changes your mood in 2 minutes. So it is like a switch on and switch off. So if there are some things that make you feel really happy, just write it somewhere. This made me really happy. So when you are feeling low, go to that page and you will start feeling good. Yeah, this changes my mood immediately.
In fact, since you talked about writing our happy thoughts, I have recently started maintaining a gratitude
Yes,
journal.
yes.
And it's been like 2 months now. And initially, it was so difficult to maintain it, like the journal. Like I have a goal of writing at least 5 happy thoughts five things that made me happy that day. And initially it was so difficult because at that point I realized, oh, Poulomi, this is not done. I have to stay more positive. I have to become more optimistic. So
Yeah,
definitely.
and even if you write one thing, and which can be a very simple thing, I'm happy for the roof on my head. Very simple thing. If you write every day, I've seen that even gratitude journals work very well.
Right.
You have so many things to be thankful about that we keep forgetting through the day. So you start cribbing less and
Yeah,
celebrating life more.
definitely. Also, in an informal sense, do you believe there are any qualifications required in order to become a writer, or do you think there's a proper career path for becoming a writer?
I have always believed that you don't become a writer. You are a writer. Either you are a writer or you're not a writer. Some people, they just can't write even two lines. They say, you can't write. And otherwise, everybody else, even if you are putting out your thoughts on an Instagram caption or in a Twitter tweet, you are a writer. You're writing. The thing is, when you are able to put your thoughts out there in a manner that they connect to the audience, and your thoughts are sorted and clarity, you have clarity what you're writing, that is enough. You don't need a proper, I haven't done MA literature, I haven't done this course, writing course. You don't need that. It's just that you need to have a little hold in the language that you're writing, because it feels good to read. Even if it is a broken language, if it connects to the reader, they'll read it. But if the language is good, people feel, the flow comes. That's all. That's all. You don't need a proper, I feel, this is my thought, because,
No, no, no. That's
see,
what I
I
believe.
don't have any formal training in writing, but I like to read. So reading is the only training that you can give yourself, that you should always read. Other than that, you don't need anything to become a writer. To become an author, again, you don't need a degree or a qualification, but you should work hard on your skill, because it is okay to just put your thoughts out there. This is one thing. This was the beginning, that I
Right.
am just putting my thoughts out. But when you want to give something to the world, you are adding a book. You should work hard. You should get it edited. You should edit it two, three times, see the language, take care of, what are you writing, what is the content. So these are little basic things.
Right.
Just a personal
And
question from my side.
right.
Just a personal question from my side, ma'am.
Yeah.
While you write a book or some very good stuff, what would be the modus operandi of your work? Like how you like set a mindset, how you do a framework kind of a stuff for writing a good thing. Like what is the major
Mm.
framework of yourself?
See, I don't have a set pattern. It's just that the ideas, the thoughts, the plot, and the storyline is constantly running in my mind. So even when I'm cooking or even when I'm traveling, suppose I'm driving, so things are going in my mind. So whenever I get a time that, okay, now I have an hour or half an hour to write. So I prefer to plan it on a paper. So I maintain a diary, one for each book. Like suppose Spark and Spice, there'll be a separate diary. So Masquerade, I'll start a new diary. I start jotting it down the broader outline, that what it should be like, what it should cover. And after that, I don't go to the smallest details. That is my joy of writing, that I get it while I'm writing. So I just wanted it's going to be a thriller, and these are the characters, just the broader outline, and this is how I'm going to proceed. These are the topics that I'm going to touch. And whenever I get them, so this is like currently Fives of Love I'm writing. So this is what goes in the beginning time. And whenever I get a new idea, I write it in the diary. When I start typing it, because these days we don't write on paper, we type on laptop. So when I start typing, I don't think about that. That's in the back of my mind. I go back to the diary only when I'm, lost somewhere. Then I start, writing. I maintain a little schedule that is required for consistency. So just
Right.
follow that, sit with your laptop and start typing. It will start coming to
Um,
you.
In context of this, this is a personal question again. In context of this, where do you find motivation and inspiration for continuing to write and also to start a book, to start writing, to start any writing project?
See, I am very fortunate. I'm lucky that I'm a doctor. So I get to meet a lot of people. And again, I've been fortunate. I have a lot of people reading my work because I've been writing since 10 years now. I used to publish on blogs previously. So since
Yes,
2010, I have been writing on different forums. So people kept joining me, and I've been lucky that they didn't leave me. So when I changed platforms, they followed me there. So I have a following on Twitter, and then so the people connect to me and they tell me. There sometimes they come to me with their issues, and sometimes they ask me questions. There are patients who will, after some time they start discussing that this happens. That gives me a food for thought. Like my the book that is coming out, the size of love is on postpartum depression. So there are some topics that haven't been really touched upon, and I feel I should give voice to that. And like my first book, The Masquerade, it was just like browsing Twitter someday. I was seeing that there are so many people. There are catfish account and people we trust so many people, but we don't know who's behind them. And someone who's talking to you, how much you can trust that person. So it has a tag on every face has a mask. It's like if you're talking to someone, can you really trust that person? So the only thing I pay attention to is that I have to make my female characters very strong. That
right,
is the one
right,
thing that I have always, I will always continue, and I have followed it. Online, I have posted around 10 blogs, 10 stories on my blog. So 10 novels are completed, and all of them I have tried to maintain that the female character has to be very strong because I
that's one
relate
thing
to
common.
strong characters and I'm a
Right.
strong woman myself. I don't like sulking, depressed, a female who doesn't use her mind or something like that. So I try to, give a message that you are very strong. So
Right.
that's it.
That's
So
really great.
basically, you try to, that's a wonderful thought actually. Basically, you try to motivate your readers by making strong characters, especially if they're women, if
Yeah,
I'm
this
wrong. Yeah.
motivation part, yeah. The motivation part is always subtle. I don't want to, write a preachy book or, you should do this, you should do that. It's just a subtle thing that while you are writing a fictional story, which has a little entertainment value, at the back of the, at the backstage, when a reader finishes the story, when they close the book, they should realize that the lady was really strong and maybe I can be like that. So that's the second message that I want to, portray. Also, the second thing I pay attention to is that there should be some hope and positivity. These are two, three things that I, try to follow,
Inculcate. Right, right.
inculcate. Yeah.
Also, I'd like to ask you next, where do you recommend young writers to find opportunities for writing, for publishing, anything?
See, opportunities for writing and publishing come very slowly if you're not in that field. Like if you are in another field, making a career in another, another stream, your opportunities will trickle in very slowly. So you have to go and hunt for them if you're really serious about writing. Find
Yes,
forums, find blogs where you can put your writing initially for free. Like you have to write seriously and put it out for free so that people read it and then they come back to you with feedback. um, Ask people to critique you and don't take it personally. See where you can improve because we are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So we
right.
can just grow that, okay, this was missing in my last book. I'll try to add this. So everywhere you can find writing contests or writing forums and writing festivals. So make your presence felt there and slowly you'll start finding people with like-minded, interest and like-minded thought process. So start connecting.
Uh, about writing forums, do you recommend Wattpad or websites like these?
See, yeah, I was on WhatsApp for some time.
Me too.
3 to 4 years back, 3 to 4, it was a beautiful forum. I can say till I was there. I left it 3, 4 years back, and then I switched to my blog. It is a very nice forum to give a platform to readers and writers both. Writers, they can put out their work and ask people to read, and it's a good forum. And then you can have your own blog. You can ask people to read your own blog. So if people really like you and follow you, they follow you to the other places also. And then you know that there are people who will buy your book to read. So then you know that you're ready for publishing.
I
Um,
personally started with the bloggers channels, which is for the Google side, I guess, and
yeah.
it really worked. Like that really worked because like I got a good response from the viewers, so uh,
Yes,
it
yeah, that
inspired us
is,
to write more.
yes, yes, definitely. Because when people come back to UK, okay, I like this really much, and I connected with this. So you learn. This is a learning process. And like I said, I'm writing since 10 years. I started with a forum, then I switched to Blogspot, then I had my own blog, then I went to WhatsApp. 2, 3 years, I was on one platform. Then now I have switched to WordPress. That's my own site. And wherever you have readers, because wherever you feel that people will read you, you are really fortunate if people are willing to read you. I really respect my readers a lot because to give your time, precious time to something is, it's respect for the author too. So if someone is reading my work and they are liking it and coming back to me, it means a lot to me. I have deep regard for my readers. Yeah, they're paying attention to you. They're giving you time, and when you're buying a book, they're giving you money also. So it's better be up our game and be work hard to give them something that deserves their time.
In fact, we've received some comments, some lovely comments from maybe some of your readers. There's Hear Me Out 96 saying hi to the best writer.
Hello.
All
Really
right.
sweet. My readers are really sweet. I love them
They-
so much. They are,
Totally.
and the effort they put to connect with me is commendable. So I love you.
All right. Moving on, what are some strategies you would recommend to combat writer's block since it's common to all of us?
Yeah, there are. See, I have like I am always in a lack of time, so I usually don't get writer's block because I am, like I told you, stories and thoughts or characters are running in my mind all the time. I don't have time. I'm driving. I'm just waiting for the time to get back to a place and start writing. So it's not very frequent with me, but yes, I have talked to a lot of people, and sometimes it feels that you're not getting that inspiration to write or something. So
Right.
I'll be giving you a very unpopular opinion there. It's very unpopular. Whenever you feel writer's block, you should, continue to write. Everybody will advise you to take a break. Take a break, go away, step away. That's what everybody tells, and I've been reading. This is my personal tip. It works for me. I don't know it's for
Right.
everybody, whether works or not, I'm not sure. But for me, it's like I have this motto. It works not only in writing, but in every field of life, every aspect. Whenever you are hit with a block or an obstacle, just go right through it and smash it. So when you're not feeling like writing, that's writer's block. Pick up the paper or the laptop and start writing anything, any past incidents, anything that comes to your mind. Just start
Okay.
typing. After some time, you'll be seeing that, okay, I overcame it. And I always remember this one line that you can improve a bad writing, but you can't improve a blank page. So it's okay if it is
Okay.
bad.
Wow,
Yes,
that's very
it's,
deep
it's
of you.
okay. It's okay if
This
it is
really
bad. If it I try to follow it all the time. It's okay. If you're not writing well, it's fine. Writer's block occurs either due to stress or due to, you want to write something perfectly, but it's not coming to you, or you're not getting time, or you're frustrated, you're not happy about something. Just forget it. Take your time out, start writing. Nothing is coming to your mind. Pick up another project, start a new story. Something will come. And if nothing comes, just start writing anything, any incident with your friends, or something you liked, something you didn't like. So I do that. I don't take a break. I just go through it, and then it overcomes easily. And then again, I'm usually in want of time. So
This
whatever
was
time I
really
get, I try to.
This was really not an unpopular opinion. I think this was a beautiful thought, and in fact, one of our viewers, Ishita, also agrees. Uh,
Yeah.
so this was a very beautiful answer. Shantanu, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I was like, apart from that, this particular thing also works psychologically because in today's time, like such a hasty time we faced like last previous year, and
Right.
many of us like breakthrough, many of us had gone through breakthrough. So like writing a good stuff will help us in a psychological way too. So yeah, it's really
Yeah,
helpful.
I
Right,
believe
writing is uh,
consistency is more important than quality comes in second revision, third revision. Sometimes you're not really happy with what you're writing. But at that time, if you give up, you are just wasting that another week or 2 weeks. You will come back to that, not liking something. You just write it, get done with it, and move ahead. I highlight those portions. Sometimes I'm not happy with a scene or a, dialogue. I highlight that area. I'll come back to it later and I continue. And the story goes ahead. And sometimes I'm in a really good mood, then I pick it up and then improve it. So it's always, you can improve anytime.
right.
Now I think I
Do you
actually get
think
some.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, Shantanu, go ahead.
I was like, I was talking to Poulomi in the evening, and she had read a book recently. So I really asked her, कि, like, yeah, मुझे भी लिखना है, and how should I write, and how should I get the tips? And to be honest, after attending this particular session, I get each and every tips for like writing a good stuff.
That's
Now
really
I'm
nice.
fully prepared.
Go for it, Shantanu. And everyone here, everyone else watching this
So
session, go for it, go do something.
Yes, yes. Do please go for it.
All right. Manita, ma'am, do you think writing requires practice? And do you think if someone stops writing for a long time, they lose their special touch or something like that?
Uh, I think every art form needs practice. You can start with the basics and you can just, go around and playing with the stuff as long as it makes you happy. But that is for your sake. But again, like I said, if you want to go for something commercial, you want to, put your paintings out there for people to see. If you want to write your books and, publish them and want people to read them, you need to have practice because with practice you start learning the fucking nuances what mistakes you are doing. Like if you come back after 1 or 2 months, suppose you're writing, then you gave it up for 2 months, then you come back and you gave it up for 1 month, you will lose connect with yourself because writing is more about connect. So like when I edit my previous book, I realized I was a different person 1 year back. So as
Yes,
a
yes.
writer, you improve. You improve every day. So if you lose practice, you will be definitely you'll remain a writer. Writer to रहेगा ही, but you will again go back to your previous self. And you have to improve, you have to go on. So I think it needs practice. And if you're writing every day, or maybe, 2 or 3 days a week consistently, you have a certain edge over your own self. I don't compare to anybody else. You have an edge over your own self that you were 6 months back. So your first book, your second book will be, I believe, it should be better than the first book, or maybe your way of approaching the subject or your way of narrating improves a bit. That's what I have said. That's what my readers have told me that that this book was the best previous than better than the previous one, and so I believe that you improve as a writer with practice.
Right. And we've received a very interesting question from one of the viewers here. Hear Me Out 96 says, what is one of the most surprising things you have learned in creating your books?
The most surprising thing, uh, the most surprising thing that was me for me was that I they know that a person can play with variety of emotions. When you start writing, you learn to understand people or things or situations more. It has been linear thinking. So that was quite surprising for me. It has helped me think better. It has helped me, communicate better. And when you are writing a book, you have three or four perspectives. You are writing for three, four characters. So you have to keep in mind that for every situation or for everything, there can be three opinions. So
Yes.
not one person is always not right or wrong. It is everybody has a different opinion about it. This was quite surprising to me. Yeah, okay, I learned it with time.
That's very interesting, to be honest. All right, moving on. What do you think should a writer not do in their journey of writing, or what makes someone a good writer?
Um, See, good writers too. I just follow. I believe only one thing, that if you are able to connect with people, what you are writing, it strikes a chord with someone, you are a good writer. So it should be, you should be very honest. If
Yeah.
you are, if you are honest with your craft, and if you feel that I should, give something that is of worth to someone's time, like I said previously, uh, I respect readers a lot. So I tend to work hard for that. So that is one thing that makes a person, honest about it. Otherwise, and one thing that a person should not do, and then I very strongly advise everybody against it, is you should not compare and you should not copy. Copying is the worst thing that a person can do. That says that you are not a writer. Once you start copying, or anybody, any writers, if they are just copying ideas or dialogues or situation, okay, this was looking good, I'll copy the same. It is a serious disservice to your craft, and when you are not serious about something, or not, I believe a lot in karma. So that won't pay you. If you're not honest with writing, writing won't pay you. If you're not honest with anything that you're doing, that is going to be waste. So that one person that you should not do. And comparison. Everybody has a different journey. Everybody has a different time of starting. So all of us start at different time with different stories, different narrations, different perspectives. So there is a room for everyone. There's no comparison. Everybody can start writing. Every single person on the earth can start writing, because all of us are here reading. So there are as many readers as there are writers. So you should not think that, okay, there are so many writers, they are doing so well. So that you shouldn't do.
You shouldn't
The
compare.
Writers,
thought
yeah,
is
you should.
absolutely like
Shantanu?
stealing the thoughts of other is just like, you are stealing an art of another person. That actually not work out.
It doesn't
It's
work
very
out.
Disrespect
You're
to the
stealing,
writers.
yes, yes, you're stealing the work of other person. So you're not honest with that person. You're not honest with yourself. You tell yourself that, at least you should be honest to yourself and your craft. You're telling yourself that I'm a writer, and then you're copy. So you're not working hard.
true.
Yeah. All right. Manita ma'am, do you think there are some universal truths when it comes to writing, when it comes to a writing process, or yeah.
Universal truths, in the sense, the plot points or the process of writing.
In the sense that what are some things that some writers have to keep in their minds while writing, like this has to be done at any cost.
And then I don't believe in any rules. There are no rules.
For
Writing
example,
is
Uh,
and because just as a beginner writer, just as a niche writer, I believe that grammar puts a very important role while writing. And I actually, play like I actually really look out to the grammatical mistake first, and then I, judge my खुद का writing कि यार बेकार लिखा है या अच्छा लिखा है.
Yeah.
So that
See, yeah, I agree with that. Like I said in the beginning, that you should, if you want to become a published author, you should
yes,
have hold on that language. If you are publishing in Hindi or publishing in English, your
yes,
language should be smoothly readable. A lot of people like us, like you and me also, when we are reading something, we just get stuck at some point. Like some mistakes, one or two spelling mistakes or grammatical, commas and all are inevitable. No matter how many times you edit. Like both of my books are big books, like 480 pages and 590 pages. So when you edit it, it takes 20 days from from the beginning. No matter how many softwares you use or you read them, one or two mistakes are inevitable. It happened, but we should take care they don't. We should edit as many times as possible. We should pay attention, give it to beta readers, nitpick, little, spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, and that one language thing is definitely it should be there. You should have a hold on vocabulary, grammar, and spelling mistakes and this, punctuation. And other than that, in the plot, like how to write the plot and how to carry on your story, there are no rules. I believe that you should give your heart to it, and you should write the way it feels justified, and it feels happy. You feel happy writing it. So you can't, follow certain rules and churn out a book like a factory. So it will become similar to all other books. So
yeah,
you can't write that. You have to have your own voice and your thoughts.
true, man.
we have a question from the viewers. What are the points to keep in mind while writing different storylines in the same period of time?
In the same book, or like in the
Uh,
same book, different storylines, or different books. Like what's the question? I can't see the question from you.
this is asked by Hear Me Out 96. If you can clarify Hear Me Out 96, please. I think we can take both
I'll answer
scenarios.
both. I'll answer both the
Yeah.
scenarios. In
Right.
one book, when you are writing different storylines, like in one book, there has to be a main story, and then there are different subplots. So the subplot should not take away anything from the main story. It's not like नई कहानी शुरू हो गई उसका कुछ end ही नहीं हुआ. It should not be like that. It should everything that happens should support the main story, and it should not grow bigger than the main story. So they are the subplots. Now, if at the same time in the same timeline, if you're writing different books, like I think she's clarified different books. So if you're writing different books at the same time, it becomes difficult. I have tried that. I used to post on blog posts, and I used to tell my readers, okay, wait, I am not able to, write three stories together. Initially, it's cool to begin. You can begin three stories or four stories together. Then it reaches a peak point, that is the middle of the story. You become so invested that you have to detach yourself out from those that period, that world, those characters' mindset, and then put yourself into another. It is very taxing, and it drains you. And again, in two books, there is a different flavor, different ideas are being, you know, thrown into that book. So you have to think from the perspective of two different characters in different books. You tend to mix them. So I would
Right.
not advise writing two books at a time. I do that. So I have learned from that if you want to not, give the same stereotypical or repetitive stuff to people, you should put one on pause, finish one, and then pick the another one. or you can write, one lighter book. That I do sometimes. If my one book is very deep and intense and it has lots of emotions, I am not able to handle. I'm writing a deep story. I begin another very light stuff, a love story or a small novella with lighter scenes and funny scenes. That you can do. That keeps the balance. That's a good balance.
That's a very good advice, to be honest. I
I
hope
hope I
this
answered it.
cleared your doubt. You're in your 26. I hope this answered your doubt. All right. We have the last question now. And anyone from the audience can also ask questions if they have any. Um, so, what is your take on publishing in the pandemic? And is it a challenge that all the writers have to be always prepared for, because it is probably one of the inevitable hurdles in the life of a writer?
See, pandemic was a difficult time. I
Yes.
believe it is still on and it's in the last stages, but it's still, we need to take care. Last 2 years have been difficult for everybody and it has hit every profession. So be it like all the professions, especially
Especially
the
for the healthcare one. Yes.
medical people, yes. I was luckily my books were completed before the pandemic. My books were ready, so all I had to do was edit them and get them published. So that was one thing that I was lucky in that field. To write new and meet all the challenges like pandemic, it was difficult definitely. But I think the times are changing and we should be prepared for every, ups and downs in our lives, or whether it's a pandemic or there's something going on in your family and you feel that okay, I need to take a break. So you should be prepared that at this point I will have to take a break. So when I'm able to write, I should write. If I have time, I should write. And then if there is something wrong that happens and something it is not, you're not getting time to devote to writing, at that time you should plan things that okay, after this is over, I'll be picking up from here. So it was definitely challenging, and at the same time a lot of people wrote a lot because it worked as therapy. That's what my friends tell me, that it was therapeutic.
Yeah.
So once you start getting the hang of it, you can write during the tough times too.
That's also in the same line of thought. Do you think there are some challenges that all writers have to go through, and how do we overcome these challenges?
See, the most important thing that uh, I have seen people facing, and I face myself is, there you not all the time you'll have support. If there are some people who are close to you or people, you suppose there's not a big function, a small function, and you don't want to go a social event or something. People won't understand why you're not coming or why you're not interested in this particular event or something. So, and when you're writing or telling someone I'm writing this, they think that okay, you're wasting time. That is the general suggestion about writing. You're wasting time. You're a doctor. So people will not understand that. They will think that okay, she's just time pass. She's not time pass. So not to let it get to you or not to let it affect you. That you will always face, always. But at the same time, you get massive support from the readers and audience, so that compensates. So you need to be really strong and tell people, no, not watching this movie. I am writing. So even when the family is watching TV, I sit with my laptop. I am typing. I think you watch TV now. I can write a noise. I can write anywhere. So that is one thing. And the second thing is, whenever you face a rejection, and sometimes people will come up to you with, they'll say that they didn't like something. If you are sending your book out for publishing, or sometimes you face negative feedback, don't let it affect you. It is a process. We tell kids, you didn't write that well, go back and write it again. Take it like that. So every writer has to face it. Sometimes I write something that doesn't go well with people, and if they are really kind. Some people are really kind. They'll come and tell you nicely that otherwise it was so good, but this thing I didn't like. So I take it positively. Some people are very rude. They'll come and say, what is this? So I try to explain them my point of view, and then at that time I realized that maybe I didn't frame it properly. So I take it positively and I tell them that maybe I didn't frame it properly. I didn't mean to say that. So I'll do it again or maybe in a better way. So that is never let it affect you. These two
Basically,
things.
uh,
Yeah.
basically taking criticism in a positive manner.
Yes, yes.
Insightful. It was really
Very
This
true.
insightful.
is how, yeah, this is how we learn. It's all about growth.
Yeah, true.
Uh, all right. So, if does anyone from the audience have any questions for us that Manita ma'am could answer? Um, all right. If there are no questions, I think this is a good time to end the session. Yes. We're very delighted to have you over, Rishita. Please join our future live sessions as well. And it was a delight having you over as well, Manita ma'am. This was indeed
It
a very
was
delightful. It was indeed a very delightful and a productive session.
it was all my pleasure. I really hope everybody who's listening and both of you, if they have gained something, it will be my pleasure. And I'm
Right.
really happy to be here.
Definitely. Yes. We definitely gained a lot of insight. I think Shantanu, though, he said he definitely gained a lot of insight in the
I just
middling
after
section.
this live, I'm starting to, start the framework of that idea.
That
Yeah, he
is
is just
that
going to write
is
a book
that is one thing that always makes me very happy. Whenever there are a lot of people who come to me and say that we are so inspired, we want to write a book. So many people tell me, I tell them, please go ahead. That makes me very happy. And
now.
whenever someone comes to me and says that, this touched me in the book and this changed my life or give me a different perspective or improved, my thoughts and made me happy. I think that is the best part of a writer's life. What else do you want?
Yeah,
True.
If
true. All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. If anyone else does not have any questions or comments, then I think we should end now.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a
Thank
delight
you so
talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Have a great day. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
you too.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
And thank you to my readers once again. Thank you so much.